Hi, welcome to Galactic Jamie. Each week I come on here to talk about my two favorite topics, outer space and nail polish. So this week I'm super excited to share my nail art tutorial with you. I created a manicure inspired by one of my favorite animated movies, Netflix's Over the Moon. But before we get to that, let's talk about outer space. So have you ever wondered why we always see the same side of the moon? I mean, if the Earth is rotating and the moon is rotating, why don't we eventually see another side? Well, we don't, and there is a scientific explanation for this. It is actually called tidal locking. There's other names for it as well, called captured rotation, spin orbit locking, or gravitational locking. Basically, tidal locking is when one side or face of an object is locked facing the object that it's orbiting. This happens because the moon's full rotation takes the same amount of time as the moon's orbit around the Earth. Okay, so let me demonstrate what is actually going on, because at least for me, before I knew what this was, it was kind of confusing and it was hard to grasp without visually seeing like what someone's talking about. So let me demonstrate it for you. So imagine this is the Earth, and then I created this little moon. So this side is the face we normally see of the moon, and then this side is the dark side. If you only knew the power of the dark side. Imagine this is the Earth and it's rotating like, you know, the Earth does. I just can't do all this at the same time. I am not that coordinated. And imagine this is the face of the moon that we normally see, and this is the dark side of the moon. So if the Earth is rotating, and then you have the moon, this is the side that always faces us, it's facing the Earth. So basically how the moon rotates is, so it orbits the Earth, but it's also rotating in the same exact speed. So this is how the moon rotates and orbits the Earth. So as you can see, we always see the same face, always see the same side, and there's no variation. Like, that is what it is because it's tidally locked. Now if the moon were to not rotate at all, so let's say it just orbited us but without rotation, it would be like this. So we would see all sides, but like I said, that is not how it happens. It actually is tidally locked, so we always see the same side. I mean, I think the moon is a little obsessed with us. I mean, it can't stop looking at us. It is so obsessed. Oh my gosh. Stalker much? So that was actually kind of hard to do, but I hope you got the point. Yeah, I think that makes sense, hopefully. So why does this tidal locking happen? What makes this side of the moon always want to face Earth at all times? So basically the gravitational forces of the Earth and the moon interact in such a way that makes this happen. So the moon's gravity pulls at Earth, which creates things like tides and stuff like that, and then the Earth's gravity also pulls at the moon, which creates this thing like tidal locking. So why don't they just like crash into each other because their gravities are so strong? Because of the speed of the movement of the moon, it doesn't like crash straight into Earth. So let me think of like an example. So let's say like you threw something through the air, so it's going straight that way, and something else came to it and hit it. It wouldn't automatically just fall the way that it was hit. It would still kind of go that way, but it would curve. So basically that's what the gravity is kind of doing, is it's like pulling it around instead of like shooting it off or pulling it into it. It's just because of the speed of the moon, it's continually pulling it around the Earth in a circle. So the moon is tidally locked to the Earth for now, but that wasn't always the case. Billions of years ago, I believe. I've read somewhere like billions of years ago, it was moving a lot differently, erratically, and eventually the gravity forces of Earth and the moon itself caused it to be in a more steady orbit and a more steady rotation. It actually even changed the shape of the moon. So the moon was more oddly shaped, and this kind of smoothed it out. Although the moon is still oblong, like it's not perfectly spherical, it's actually a little bit oblong because of the way that the gravity is pulling on it. It's not exactly like a round shape. Many of the planets in our solar system have moons that are tidally locked. For example, Jupiter has 8 moons that are tidally locked that we know of, including like Europa and Callisto. And then even like Saturn has 15 moons tidally locked. So there's definitely a lot of this tidal locking going on in our solar system as well. It's not just the Earth with the moon. So that's all I have to say about the moon and tidal locking today. So now it's time for the nail art portion of the video. Like I said earlier, today's nail art is inspired by my favorite animated movie, Over the Moon, which is on Netflix. I think this is the most beautiful movie I've ever seen. The storyline, the animation, the music. Build a rocket to the moon. Anyways, I sing soundtrack all the time. I probably drive my family a little crazy because you could probably always find me singing one of the gorgeous songs from that movie. Anyways, today's nail art is inspired by the lunar citizens from the movie. They are called the Lunarians, and as soon as I saw this movie, I was like, those would be so cute as nail art. So I finally found the right polishes to be able to achieve this nail art look, and if you would like to learn how to do this as well, let's just dive right in. As always, I start all of my manicures with a clean, dry nail and base coat. Today I'm using the Orly Bonder base coat. Base coat helps your nail polish stick to your nails better and makes your manicure last longer. I think it's always a good idea to use base coat before painting your nails. So now I'm going to go in with the first color, which I'm using the Sinful Colors Hot Pink Tights. So these polishes are sheer polishes, which is what I wanted for this, and you'll see later on why I wanted sheer polish. So now the second color I'm going to go in with is See-Through Citrine. And I chose these colors based on the little Lunarian characters from Over the Moon, and I wanted to do a different color on each nail. So now on my third finger, I'm going to be doing Sinful Colors Kiss of Cobalt. And for my pinky finger, I'm going to be using the Sinful Colors Turnt-Quoise. So I went ahead and did 2 coats of these to get it a little less sheer on the nail. I wanted more of that color to come through before going on to the next step. I was so excited to find these polishes because they're literally the perfect colors and the perfect sheerness for what I wanted to do. So now I'm going to go in with the white polish, which today I'm using OPI's Alpine Snow, and I'm going in with a small brush, and I'm just going to draw the little faces on there. I used images as reference while doing this so that I could kind of emulate some of the faces and their mouths and stuff. So as you can see, they're not like perfect smiley faces. I wanted them to kind of be not centered on my nail. I wanted them to be very much like they are in the movie. The characters, their faces kind of bob around in their jelly type bodies, so I wanted it to kind of have that appearance on my nails as well. So I went ahead and drew a bunch of these little faces on each nail. And like I said, I used some of these photos for references for drawing the faces. It's so easy to draw these too. I love this little face I did. I copied kind of the face that's on that orangey yellow guy in the middle and did it on this one, on the blue one. In this movie, there's so many bright, beautiful colors, and like I said, I'm so happy I found these nail polishes because they were the perfect colors to do this. Look how cute that little face is. I love it. And like I said, I wanted to keep the faces not centered and perfect. I wanted them to be a little off-center like they are in the movie. Like their faces completely move around in the movie and just kind of bounce and float in their bodies. So the biggest reason I wanted these sheer polishes was so that I could actually paint over the art I did. So it's not white. Now it will be a very like light colored facial features. I wanted it to look like the face was inside the body, just like the characters are in the movie. I didn't want it to look like I just drew faces on top of the colors. I wanted it to look like the faces were in the actual nail art, which is why, like I said, these sheer polishes were perfect for the look I was going for. And now these polishes are matte, but I didn't want a matte look. So after this layer dries, I went ahead and did a quick dry top coat, just a regular one on there, so they're shiny. I didn't want the matte part of the polishes. So now, like I said, once that's all dry, I went ahead and put that quick dry top coat on top. And like I've said many times before, quick dry top coat helps all of your polish dry underneath, so it's always worth it to put a coat of that on when you're done. So there is the Lunarian manicure. I think it turned out really well. They're really cute and fun. My little daughter loved seeing them because she's obsessed with the movie as well. And here's a comparison. I think my manicure captured the vibe I was going for with this Over the Moon manicure. So that's my little Over the Moon Lunarian manicure. If you decide to try a look like this at home, please tag me. I'd love to see what you do. Also, if you've seen Over the Moon, let me know. I think it's like one of the most underrated movies and it's absolutely beautiful. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's on Netflix. And if you have, tell me below. I'd love to talk to you about it. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you enjoy learning about outer space or nail polish, please consider subscribing to my channel. Anyways, I hope you all have a stellar week. Bye!